Today we are looking at an idea called Mt Improbable. You can find this idea in the book The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins. Basically, Mt Improbable says this. It argues for evolution. And by the way, I'm not arguing for or against evolution here. I'm just want to talk about the idea and whether or not it has any merit. Anyhow, Richard Dawkins, in his book, he says that there is a mountain called Mt Improbable. And at the top here is all of the created order and all of its complexity as it stands now. And at the base is where we used to be, maybe very, very primitive life forms, single-celled organisms, organic soup, whatever it is. And Mt Improbable basically says this, is that in order to get from here to here, it seems highly unlikely that it would happen in one gigantic leap. That somehow, whether it was creation or some sort of punctuated event in which this person was able to get way up here just in one leap, it is highly improbable. So Dawkins argues for this. He says basically that the function of evolution was to slowly, over time, use the power of the inclined plane, or this sloping type of momentum, to slowly gather through the forces of evolution, through the highly selective processes of evolution and adaptation, that we finally come to the much more complex life form up here. We went from a very, very simple life form down here up to a very, very complex life form. And the idea is that somehow, over time, through this sloping mechanism, that it is somehow a lot easier, that it's not this burst of energy and somehow it happened in one singular event. The problem, however, with this, and I'm surprised that Dawkins doesn't catch this, Dawkins argues that essentially steps and ascending these steps and going from the base of the mountain to the top of the mountain, that somehow that is much harder than ascending an inclined plane. But actually it's the same amount of work to go up an inclined plane as it is to take a step. So the idea then is invalid, because whether or not it's a single step to the top or whether it's a slow and gradual process that works its way up, it's actually using the same amount of energy and it has the same amount of improbability, and we are stuck back at the start, the base of Mt Improbable, because reason does not overcome improbability. Faith does.